This might be one of the hardest videos that I've done in a very long time. And I'm not saying this to be dramatic, but I'm saying it because it was very eye-opening. Very eye-opening, and how would I put this to words? I have just swatched 9 lipsticks on my lips. And I am bringing myself into the idea that what I thought was my favorite formula might not be the favorite. We'll discover all of this in this video. We are gonna be swatching my best or my favorite matte lipsticks that I own. And those are, of course, Lisa Eldridge, Merit Beauty, and my queen, Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tilbury is my favorite brand of all times, but in general, these 3 brands are my favorite. So today we're gonna be putting them to the test. I am going to be swatching 9 of these lips. I broke them down in 3 shades. So nude lipsticks, pinks, and reds. And we're gonna be swatching all of them together today. And we're gonna see which one performs best. What is the difference between these formulas? If there is any difference really, they're all matte lipsticks, all beautiful formulas. But I did find a few things that I wanna share with you in this kind of painful journey that my lips just went through. But anyway, if you are interested in watching and learning more about these 3 different formulas, definitely keep on watching. But before we jump into this swatch party, please be sure to subscribe. It is super easy and it does help my channel a lot. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button down below. That's red like my lips. And yeah, let's get right into it. I'm not sure how to even go on with this video. I'm not gonna be swatching all of the lipsticks because clearly I would never finish. This video would be like 3 hours long and my lips would be in pain and possibly bleeding. So we don't want any of that. No one wants to see that. But I will be comparing the 3 formulas from these brands that happen to be my favorite brands of makeup, and specifically of lipsticks. I just show you my massive Lisa Eldridge collection, and that is not everything. I do have others sitting still on my vanity and also here by themselves. We're gonna be discussing the matte formula specifically from Merit, Lisa Eldridge, and Charlotte Tilbury. And that is matte formula of lipsticks, of course. I didn't specify. Merit is the brand that recently released new signature lips in matte formula. Their first lipsticks were in the signature satin. So this year, maybe a few months ago, they released the matte ones. So of course I had to try them. I love the brand and I love their lipsticks. So I picked 4 of them, which I already talked about them in a specific video. And in that video, I mentioned that I wanted to compare the formula from these ones to Lisa Eldridge, which I think is the queen of mattes, and to Charlotte Tilbury, which is my favorite brand of makeup of all times. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick 1 of each brand and try them on my lips, because obviously I don't remember how I feel about each one. I use them all the time interchangeably, but I don't remember, like I couldn't compare them. I couldn't like sit down right now and tell you, oh, this one is better because of this, or this one is better because of that. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and try them. I'm gonna start with a light shade because I probably will try a few of them. But let's begin with, I guess, a nude one from each category. I think that would be the best way of doing it, I think. So I'm gonna start with Classic by Merit. I'll show them in a minute. Velvet Fawn, and then I need to find, I guess, a nude one from Charlotte Tilbury, but I don't think I have a lot of matte ones from Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, a lot of nude ones. Actually, never mind, I do have nude ones, and that would be Very Victoria, which is the lightest one that I own. Well, not lightest, nudist, because this is really more darker on my lips, I think. I don't remember. I have so many lipsticks that I don't remember which is what, but I think that's what we're gonna be doing. Supermodel might be, oh yeah, so this is Supermodel. This is more rosewoody, I guess, and this is Very Victoria, which is more nude. So let's begin with the nudes. I have 3 here, which I would consider a nude lipstick. Lipstick and makeup is very relative. It depends on what you like to wear, what your skin tone is, what your undertone. So whatever might be nude for me might not be nude for you, and the other way around. So anyway, I'm gonna show you all of them. Again, this is not a comparison with shades. This is just what I thought would be in the nude category. So, beginning with Merit, which is what caused this this video to be thought about. It's classic. This, I'm pretty sure, is the lightest in the collection when they recently released their matte formula. So this is classic. And then we're gonna also be trying Very Victoria, which I just showcased. And lastly, Velvet Fawn, which again, I think this is the lightest from Lisa Eldridge. Beautiful packaging, all of them. But there is something very special about the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks, I'm not gonna lie. So let's begin with Merit. If I'm not mistaken, Merit is the softest formula out of these 3. So again, this is going to be also a refresher on my mind. There's nothing on my lips. I was wearing a bit of Burt's Bees to begin, but I removed it so it could have like a black canvas. I'm not gonna be wearing any lip liner, just the lipsticks. And I'm gonna try to only do nudes, pink, and maybe a red, but really I'm probably just gonna stick to these 3 and maybe a pink just to show really the formula. So let's begin with Classic. Very soft, very buttery. I think I talked about this whenever I did that video. They're very buttery and they almost feel very lightweight on the lips. They're very lightweight. That's what I'm being reminded right now. That color is beautiful. This is a perfect everyday nude lipstick. Probably not for everyone, but for me, this is a perfect nude. Very pretty. So here is Classic by Merit. You can see it on my lips. It's very smooth. Again, with the buttery word, but it is very buttery formula. Very comfortable and very lightweight. So, with that in mind, let's remove it. Let's move on with Charlotte Tilbury. I think I'm gonna leave Lisa Eldridge to the very end because I think it's my favorite. I don't know. I can't remember. It's just my favorite. I guess more sentimental wise, I guess I would call it. I don't know. Let me remove this. I think we're good. Let's move on with Very Victoria by Charlotte Tilbury, my favorite brand. And how adorable is this packaging. I mean, it's beautiful. Nothing on the lips. Okay. Straight up, I can tell this is not as buttery as Merit. Not even close. But it is very soft and very buttery regardless. And you can see, also slided very nicely on the lips. Ooh, this color is very pretty. I was always very scared of this lipstick, the shade, because I thought it was gonna be too light for my complexion, but I think it's a very pretty, again with the everyday nude for my lips. Soft, very soft, but just strictly, all of these lipsticks I love. Clearly I love them because I have 5,000 of them, but just being very picky, I do find that Merit, comparing it specifically with Charlotte Tilbury, is more buttery, it's softer. But this is very soft regardless. Was this the one that I was using? Yeah, Very Victoria. It's very pretty. I think it's a very pretty shade. And formula is also very, very good. Let me go ahead and remove this, but how pretty is this lipstick? I need to wear this more. It's one of my newest ones. So let's move on with Velvet Fawn, which again, I'm pretty sure this is my lightest shade, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is my lightest one. And I think it's the lightest in her line. I have a lot of them, so I can't, yeah, because this is more pink, this is more nude. You see, this is more nudie brown. Okay. I don't want to make this video too long, so hopefully we can move a little bit fast. Let's go ahead and do Lisa Eldridge Velvet Fawn. This is a drier formula. It's definitely more on the drier side than Charlotte Tilbury and definitely than Merit. So I can feel it a bit more dry. So it's not, what I'm saying is it's not as buttery as Merit. I think Merit is the softest, most buttery out of the three formulas, but I still love all of them. I don't want this to come across as I'm comparing them in a bad way, because I am an absolute fan of the three formulas. Quick recap of the formulas now that I literally just applied them. I would say the most buttery of them all, like softest whenever you're applying, Merit. Definitely very, very buttery. The three of them are buttery, but this one is the one that's the most buttery. The most lightweight, that you can barely feel on your lips, Merit. The one that I felt the most on my lips, like, oh yes, I'm wearing a lip, is going to be Charlotte Tilbury. And I would say that Lisa, it's pretty in between. It doesn't feel heavy, it doesn't feel too lightweight, it just feels, I don't know, in between. And shade-wise, I do think it's just because the shade is a little too light. It does feel like my lines on the lips are more noticeable. But even then, I mean, barely. So, let's move on. That was formula-wise. I think, of course, I love them all. Let me go ahead and remove this. Before we move on with the pinks, I am applying a little bit of Burt's Bees so my lips don't fully hurt. And I'm gonna take it off in a minute, but I want to pick the shades that I think are gonna be closest to each other in pink color, I guess. So I think I'm gonna go for Velvet, oh, I can't find it. Velvet Petal, which is a beautiful, beautiful pink that I wish was around whenever I got married. Okay, so let me remove. Now we're removing the Burt's Bees, so the lips are dry and it doesn't affect the matte finish. So this is my favorite from the four that I bought from Merit. I'm not gonna begin with this one so I can switch things up around, since I did begin with the other round with this formula. So let's go for Mrs. Kisses, which I think it's the most pinkish that I have from Charlotte Tilbury. Very pretty. I want to start with this one, and then we'll go with Velvet Petal, and we'll finish up with the Merit one. My lips are very dry, so let's swatch. Very soft and very buttery. This color is so pretty. This was released as a bridal collection maybe like 3 years ago. She came out with 3 matte formula lipsticks for brides, and it's such a beautiful collection. I have the 3 of them, and I have a fuller review. I'll leave a link below in case you're interested. But you can still find the 3 of them, so highly recommend you watch that video and you pick one of those shades because they're very beautiful. Formula, same. But just like I said earlier, I do find that the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks feel more on my lips. I don't want to use the word heavy, but nitpicking the 3 of them formulas, comparing with each other, Charlotte Tilbury does feel the most, let's use the word the most on my lips. Very beautiful formula. But yeah, I wanted to mention that. And now let's move on with Velvet Petal. Another beautiful shade. Let me remove this. It's a very, very, very pretty pink. Let me go ahead and swatch this. Definitely drier. I feel like this, they don't tug on your lips, but they're not as buttery as Charlotte Tilbury or Merit. But they're still extremely comfortable, of course, and extremely velvety, extremely buttery. I think this, out of the 3 formulas, the Lisas, the True Velvets, might be the more matte ones out of the 3. And I do also find that with the Lisas, I do feel that the lines on my lips just seem a little more pronounced comparing them to Merit or Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch Merit to fully make that decision, but that's what I'm just looking right now. And I think so, but it doesn't look bad at all. Of course not. True Velvets are my favorite formula ever, but I'm just saying, just something to keep in mind. You see? Soft, buttery, beautiful. Let me go ahead and remove this. Let's move on with Sunday by Merit. This is going to be the last of the pinks, and then we can move on with the last category, which is gonna be the reds. So this is my favorite pink in the Merit line, and maybe even one of my favorite pinks in general in my collection. Let's go ahead and try it. Super soft. And yes, I do feel like these Merit lipsticks don't emphasize my lines on the lips as much as the Lisa. So yeah, I think that was pretty accurate. I have lipstick on my teeth. We made it to the last category, and this is going to be our reds. And I wanted to pick more on the orangey red to give a perspective, not just red. So I don't know how orangey red these are gonna be, but that's what I was thinking. So let's begin with Lisa Eldridge. I don't think we've started with Lisa Eldridge. And I picked, by the way, for the shades, Velvet Morning, which this one is broke and it breaks my heart. But yeah, it's like fully broke. Beautiful shade. So we've got Velvet Morning, and then we've got Patsy Red by Charlotte Tilbury. This is actually not the original component. I did get this one as a refill, but I love that Charlotte Tilbury has this interchangeable components. And then lastly, we're gonna do Vermilion, which is the more orangey red from the two that I have from Merit. So let's begin with Lisa. This were the original 3 shades that she released. So she released Velvet Morning, Ribbon, and Velvet Jazz as her 3 original lipsticks and what started the brand. So this is very specially close to my heart. I picked this one because this is probably the more springy in my eyes. So let's go with Lisa's Velvet Morning. My lips are also, again, pretty dry, and I removed the Burt's Bees. How pretty is that? It definitely feels more, or it looks more very orange. Wow, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's very, very orange. I don't remember it being this orange. I honestly haven't used this in a very long time, so this is quite surprising for me. But it is very pretty. This definitely looks more neon on camera than it looks on, like, in person. It's a beautiful shade, very, very springy, very summery. Perfect for right now, even though it's cold again outside. I'm wearing a long sleeve. I don't know, today, for the past 3 days, it's been raining, a little bit chilly. So, not the vibe right now with this very bright, more orangey red, but it's still very pretty. Let's remove this one, and let's go for Merit. At this point, my lips are very stained, but that's okay. So now we're gonna go for Vermilion. This is not as orange as the Lisa one, but it's still more on the red orangey category. So let's swatch. Yeah, I feel, or I know now at this point, out of the 3, this is the more buttery one, and it's the one that the line on your lips look the least. But it doesn't take away from how matte it is. You can see it's very, very matte. But this might be... Is this the best formula out of the 3? I am so confused. I am so torn, but it could be. It could very well be the best one out of the 3. With what I'm comparing. And of course, all of them are beautiful and amazing, and I love them all. But just some thoughts that I'm having right now. At this point, my lips are now hurting just a little bit, but we'll survive because this is the last one. And again, this is Patsy Red by Charlotte Tilbury in the Hot Lips Collection 2. I guess it would be the Hot Lips 2. And of course in the matte formula. Let's go ahead and try it. Very soft. This doesn't have as much orangey as I was thinking. I don't know why I picked it. Well, I picked it because it's the only red I own from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is more like your classic, more appley, almost strawberry red, which is my personal favorite kind of reds. The more pinkish red, if that makes sense. But very, very soft. And you can barely see the lines on my lips. It's very soft, very forgiving. I'm looking at it right now very closely. I do think that the Charlotte Tilbury ones are the least matte ones of the three formulas. Not that they're not matte, of course you look at my lips and they're like, she's wearing a matte lip. But very closely looking at this has not shine, because it doesn't have shine, but it's the least matte of the three formulas. So another quick thought. But yeah, here is Patsy Red. We are all done. 3 different formulas, 9 different lipsticks that we tried. I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick final thoughts as I'm gathering everything after all this swatch party. It's so hard to say this, but I think my favorite might be the Merit formula. They are all pretty similar, or as similar as 3 matte lipsticks can be, but I think Merit wins in my book for being the most buttery, the softest, and the most lightweight on the lips. It almost feels like you're not wearing anything on the lips, so very, very lightweight. I really love how Lisa gives a very impactful, very matte lip. It's also very soft. Let's just stop repeating myself. All of them are soft. All of them are beautiful. I love them all equally. But if I had to pick, I think Merit would be my winner. Charlotte Tilbury, I feel like it's the least matte one. It does have a bit of a tiny bit of shine, very noticeable. But, you know, if I move my face around, there's just a bit of shine that peeks through it, but not in a bad way. It's still a matte lip, of course. And it is the one that I feel the most on my lips. So I feel like this might be, it is the heavier one on the lips. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, but, and that I don't like heavy lipsticks. Not heavy, but it's the one that I can feel the most out of the 3 formulas. And then lastly, the only bad thing that I have to say about Lisa's lipsticks is that they are very, very fragile. So you have to be very careful whenever you apply them. I do have a few of them broken. They've been wonderful. They've actually replaced 2 lipsticks without me ever having to ask or even bringing that to their attention by them watching a few of my videos. I did mention, whenever I talk about her lipsticks, matte lipsticks, I do mention that they are very easily breakable, and that's just a fact. And I feel like everyone who uses these lipsticks has experienced something in the past very similar. Like I was mentioning, Velvet Morning is fully broke, so yeah. So that being said, I would 100% recommend lipsticks. I love them with all my heart. They have a special place in my heart. This Lisa's True Velvets. I would just recommend you wear, like, whenever you apply them, you literally just take out the smallest amount of lipstick and then apply it. Don't go on and open too much the bullet and apply, because yes, they will break. But one thing that I've noticed, that the Merit ones are also very, they haven't broke just yet, but I don't think, but I feel like if I'm not careful, they will. Because look at this one. This one is Sunday, my favorite. You can see how the bullet has started to move a little bit. So I hope you can see it through the video. So it is just slightly moving to one side, meaning whenever I'm applying it, I'm putting that pressure. So I feel, this tells me that it could break easily. It hasn't just yet, none of them, but just something to notice and something to note. This one is very significant. This one is classic. So can you see that in the back? It means that whenever I'm applying it on my lips and pushing the lip just a little bit. So keep that in mind. I will definitely keep you posted. If this break at some point, I'll let you know. So in that category of a most resilient bullet, I would say Charlotte Tilbury wins that category, if there's any category to win. The most softest, Merit. The most impactful, and what I feel the most matte, most beautiful on the lips, as just like a matte, beautiful lip, Lisa. All of them have their beautiful things. All of these formulas I love. I don't want to repeat myself again, but yeah. Let me know in the comments below which one you think is your favorite. Have you tried these formulas? What are your thoughts? Did you enjoy this video? Definitely let me know. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And like always, don't forget to subscribe. It definitely helps a lot to help, you know, my channel grow, and I definitely appreciate it. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.